Hi, I'm Eileen Davis, Environmental Educator with the Lake County Forest Preserves. I want to thank you for joining me today on a virtual tour of a pond near my home. Each year in celebration of Earth Day, the Forest Preserves offers a week full of free environmental education programming throughout the county. For obvious reasons, this year we've had to do some things a little bit differently, and we hope you've enjoyed the programming, the virtual programming, the resources, the links, and other activities we've posted this week. We're looking forward to offering programming in person when it is safe to do so. Now today I'm here to talk about water quality and how humans can have a positive or negative impact on water quality. One of my coworkers, Jan Ward, is going to help me out a bit. Jan and I are going to do a water quality study of two different ponds in Lake County. One of the ponds is located in her neighborhood in Central Lake County in a suburban neighborhood, and the other pond is closer to my home up in Northwest Lake County, and that pond is in a more remote area, not surrounded by houses or streets or any sort of industry. And Jan and I are scooping in the pond for the animals that live there, because the animals that live in the ponds can tell us a lot about how healthy the pond is. So what I did today is I went to my pond in Northwest Lake County and I scooped, and I was pleasantly surprised, even considering how cool it's been, but there was a lot of life and activity in the pond, and I've brought some of those critters home with me today to show you, and then when we're all done I'm going to go take them back and let them back into the pond. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the animals down in our bucket right now. So you can see there's quite a variety of different things in the bucket here. We have some tadpoles in the large bucket, and they are swimming around quite happily. Could you close the curtain? And there's some pond swimmers or back swimmers scooting around here in the bucket as well. I brought in lots of little plant life for the critters to hide in. And then as we scooch on over in this first little petri dish, I've got some dragonfly nymphs. And dragonflies have two phases to their life cycle. The first part of their life is spent in water. And in the pond, they are one of the predators. So they are scooting around looking for smaller insects, small tadpoles and little fish, and they will eat those. And then as they transform into their adult form, they fly around on land looking for insects that fly as well, and they eat other insects when they are adults. And we also have in this pan or this little dish right here a cousin to the dragonfly, the damselfly. And the damselfly is a little pokey. Oh, there he goes. You can see he's very long and skinny, and those little feathery appendages coming off his back end there are gills. He's got 6 legs like all insects do. And again, they are related to dragonflies, and they're the more delicate looking. They look like a little baby dragonfly, some of the kids often tell me, as they're flying around on land. And then we've got a few snails here in this dish. And over here, these two little guys, back swimmers and water boatmen. And a very active leech right now. He's been swimming around in his dish. We've got a freshwater clam here and a few little water beetles. See if we can get them to scooch around a little bit for us. There he goes. And one of my favorite finds today is move this guy out here where we can see him a little bit better. And this is a mayfly. And he's got 3 little spiky appendages coming off his back end as well. Very delicate little creature. Again, he's going to spend the first part of his life in water, and the adult form flies on land, usually for only a brief amount of time, to find a mate. The female lays eggs, and then they die, and the majority of the life cycle is in the water. There's our leech moving around again. And then over here we've got a little crayfish in this dish right here. He's an important part of the ecosystem in the pond. He eats all the dead dead animals and plant material down at the bottom of the pond. And one more little tadpole right here. Again, the tadpoles spend, these tadpoles right now this early in the spring would have spent the winter in their tadpole stage. And all of these animals tell us a story. So they all have different requirements for their habitat. And one of the stories they tell us is about the water quality. And this worksheet is divided into 3 different categories. The top row here are animals that cannot tolerate a lot of pollution, like a mayfly or a tadpole or the water boatman. And we actually had 3 of those species in the pond today. So we tallied those up and marked them over here in the corner. The next category of critters that can tolerate a little bit more pollution, but we have the crayfish, the freshwater clam, the damselfly and dragonflies. We have water beetles. And then there was one little guy who was a little too small to see, but he's called a scud or a side swimmer. And then in the bottom box are the animals are very pollution tolerant. They can tolerate a lot more pollution than the animals in the first 2 categories, things like the leech and a snail. And we had 2 species there. Now each of these categories for each species you find has a different numerical value. So we tallied those up, and the animals in the top box, because they cannot tolerate very much pollution, they're worth 3 points each. And the ones in the middle box are worth 2 points each, and the ones down at the bottom are worth 1 point each. When we tally everything up, we came up to 23, which gives us an overall rating of excellent, which is not surprising considering the land surrounding this pond is not developed at all and doesn't have a whole lot of water running into it when snow melts or rain falls that could carry pollutants with it. So you get an overall good quality or excellent quality of water quality in that pond. All right, so we're gonna just finish things up here. Again, my name is Eileen Davis. I want to thank you guys for joining us today on this virtual tour of our pond. And I encourage you to check out Jan's video because she's going to be doing the same thing. And I'll be interested to see how she does and what her diversity rating and her water quality rating is in the pond near her. Enjoy the nice weather that we're going to be having, and we hope to see everybody when it's safe to do so at some point in the future. Thank you.